out the and stop. That's going to be the key to winning because we're going to hit the ball.
Thank you, Coach. We'll talking to you after the win.
All right.
Head Coach Chap as the Golden Tigers get to meet the Tigers of Edward Waters on GTSN.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For five-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
And we are back live at Washington Field getting set for baseball action. Golden Tigers of Tuskegee getting set to host the Tigers of Edward Waters University. This is SIAC conference play. Golden Tigers lost twice to the Tigers of Edward Waters on yesterday, looking to change the script here on an early Saturday morning here in Tuskegee. Pending rain for the Tuskegee area is one of the reasons we're starting this one at 10 o'clock. But Tuskegee not opposed to starting at 10 to see if that'll change their fortunes from yesterday to the Tigers of Edward Waters. In the batting order for the Tigers of Edward Waters, as they get set to come to the plate, it'll be Caden Hutchinson. He'll play left field and bat one. Hugo Showing, he'll be at first base, bat second in the lineup. Terry Jones, a designated hitter. He will bat third. And batting in the fourth cleanup spot will be Misael Ramos, the shortstop. He'll be followed by the catcher, C.J. Medina, then Jordan Smith, and then Tyler Smith following Jordan in their lineup, and Luis Nunez at second base. He will bat in the ninth spot. So it's Hutchinson, Showing, Jones, Ramos, Medina, Smith, and Smith, and then Nunez and Chase Morris. He will bat in the ninth spot for the Tigers of Edward Waters. On the mound for Tuskegee, it's the senior Mikael Mason. Mason from Harker Heights, Texas. Mason on the season with that 7.9 ERA with the best win percentage for Tuskegee from the mound, 5-3 on the campaign for Mikael. On the season, he's pitched 41 innings, given up 43 hits, 39 runs, 3 strikeouts for the senior. Mason at 6'2". He'll toe the rubber for Tuskegee, and he'll meet the Tigers of Edward Waters with Hutchinson, Showing, and Jones, the first 3 in their lineup. Tigers of Edward Waters, Hutchinson, yesterday in the ball game against Tuskegee, got to the plate 9 times over the 2 ball games. The doubleheader had a double in that ball game, 4 RBI, 1 run, 1 sacrifice fly, and he was picked off 1 time in that ball game. He'll come into the ball game with a .228 batting average, leading into yesterday's play here at Washington Field. As the final warm-ups are being conducted by Mason, and we're set to begin action here momentarily from Washington Field. So glad you could join us for our coverage here on GTSN as Tuskegee tries to avenge the losses on yesterday to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Tuskegee falling 11-7 and 8-5 on yesterday, looking to change their fortunes today. Mason on the mound. He'll be Joshua Stevens behind the plate to catch him yesterday in the ball game. Marion Ward behind the plate for Tuskegee. Showed a little bit of problem with that right hamstring, and he is not in the lineup this afternoon. Al King will be behind the plate. Zach Tate the umpire out in the field, so the same crew from yesterday. Talking to Al and Zach before the ball game. Reference, we can get things started a little bit earlier. We went over all the ground rules on yesterday, so everybody's clear on the ground rules. And from Mikhail Mason for Tuskegee, the rule here is just minimize the runs for the Tigers of Edward Waters. Mason set, Hutchinson steps in, and we are just about underway for first pitch. Mason winds and delivers, and first pitch over but low for ball one. First pitch time, 10:01 here in Tuskegee, Alabama. Glad you could join us again on GTSN. So Hutchinson ahead in the count, no ball, 1 ball, no strikes. This one plunked him in the back, and Hutchinson is aboard for the first runner of the ball game. And he was hit by a pitch there by Mikhail Mason. And Tuskegee, the pitching corps on yesterday, 3 hit batsmen in the 2 ball games on yesterday. And they'll start out with Hutchinson being hit in the back, and he's at first base. First baseman showing now. He'll come up to the plate for Edward Waters to bat. Showing at the plate 6 times yesterday, had 1 base hit, 3 base on balls, and he struck out twice in the ball game. First pitch to him is inside tight and off the plate for ball 1. So Mikhail, first 3 pitches have not found the zone as Showing steps back in for Edward Waters. Mason winds and delivers. Bounced up at the plate, and an easy stolen base there by Hutchinson. On the pitch that didn't make it all the way, bounced out in front of the plate, and Hutchinson's down at second base. Mason also a utility player for Tuskegee. 2 balls, no strikes on Showing. That pitch finds the zone for his first strike of the ball game. And that'll make it 2-1 to Showing. Torrey Jones, the designated hitter for Edward Waters, on deck. Hutchinson got hit by the pitch at first, stole second, so he's sitting at second with nobody out. 2-1 delivery here to Showing. That one cracked on and fouled off right side, and the count even now at 2-2. Hutchinson down at second. Mason in the stretch. Looks at second. Now toward the plate. He'll come home with the pitch. This one on the ground and up the middle. Devin Lee had a look at it, but not able to cut it off, and he come to the plate, but passing the plate is Hutchinson, so he will score, and down the second goes Showing on the throw toward the plate. So Showing there, he got a single up the middle. Takes second on the throw, so Edward Waters with their first 2 batters push across their first run here in Saturday morning play here at Washington Field. So Tuskegee down 1-0, and Torrey Jones, the designated hitter, stepping in now for Edward Waters. .364 batting average for him coming into the weekend. 2 ball games on yesterday, had 5 plate appearances, 2 base hits for him, one of which was a triple. Mason with the pitch. This one over but low for ball 1. Down at second base is Hugo Showing, the first baseman. Jones, the designated hitter, nobody out here in top of the first. Michel Ramos, the shortstop, he's on deck, and he'll be followed by the catcher, J.C. Medina. Mason with the pitch, chopped on left side, fielded right by the bag. Glass fires across the diamond, bounced it there. No problem for Edward Jones at first. Evan Jones as he picks it up at first base. So Torrey Jones is retired. First out of this ball game for Tuskegee, and that will bring Ramos to the plate for Edward Waters. Hutchinson scored after he was hit by a pitch. He scored off of the single by Hugo Showing. Torrey Jones just grounded out to third, and the first pitch to Ramos is in tight for ball 1. 1 out, top of the first. Mason Pierce second. Pitch there inside, swung on and missed by Ramos. Good pitch on the inside, part of the plate from Mason. Edward Waters, coached by Reginald Johnson II. He's in his 14th season. Golden Tigers headed by Chadwick Hogg, and that's a pitch there that's up and out of the zone for a ball. That'll be a pass ball. Or I beg your pardon, wild pitch there. And over to third base for Edward Waters goes Showing. Looks like that pitch was designed to be down inside the zone, but Mason kept it elevated. So over the third goes Showing, and the count to Ramos goes to 2-1. Mason with the pitch. This one in real tight, turning that upper torso to avoid being hit by it was Ramos. So the count to 3-1 now. Al King, Zach Tate with their first conference after that last pitch from, and they're going to award first base there. Looks like there was a balk there by Mason on the mound. So that will send Ramos down to first base after the conference between King and Tate. They award Ramos first base on the balk. First balk of the season by Mason. So runners now at the corners for Edward Waters, and stepping in is the catcher, J.C. Medina. Showing at third. Throw over the first base, diving back in there is Ramos. So Ramos awarded first on the balk. And Showing at third. Hutchinson's already crossed the plate. One down, top of the first. It's pitch out of the zone, dropped it there on the attempted throwdown. I think Tuskegee probably would have tried to cut that ball to see if the runner at third would be trying to advance to home. But it was dropped by Stevens behind the plate. So Ramos down to second base. And the count on Medina, 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at third and second now. Another high pitch coming out of the crouch of Stevens to catch that baseball. And the count now at 2-0. Slight chill here in the air in Tuskegee. Definitely no sun compared to what we had on yesterday. Very balmy start to that first ball game. Blocked there by Stevens. The count goes to 3 balls, no strikes on the pitch that was low and inside from Mason. Mason seemingly having some trouble getting settled on the mound. Behind in this count, 3 balls, no strikes. 1 down, here's the pitch. This one chest high, but it's off the plate for ball 4. So Medina draws a walk, and the bases are full now. Showing at third, Ramos at second, and Medina, after the pass, is down at first base. Pitching coach James Jackson headed toward the mound. Early conference with Mikhail Mason. Trying to get him to settle down a bit here in this first half of our opening inning. Hutchinson scored after he got on board. He was hit by a pitch to start things off. Showing singled up the middle. After Hutchinson stole second base, he easily scored from second on the single. Torrey Johnson, the designated hitter, grounded out to Glass at third base. Misael Ramos, the shortstop, he got awarded based upon a balk as Mason was in the stretch, and he's got down to first base and stole second. And Medina, he drew a base on balls, so that's where we are now. Bases loaded, 1 down, 1 across for Edward Waters. Stepping in now for the Tigers, it's Jordan Smith, the right fielder. Mason, pitch is bounced up there and coming to the plate easily. It'll be Showing after the wild pitch, and each runner moving up 90 feet with Showing crossing the plate. So 2 across here for Edward Waters early on here. Ramos over to third base, and Medina down to second. So a couple of wild pitches by Mason, and Couple of runs across for Edward Waters. Mason with the pitch fires that one. This one's chopped on and fouled wide of first base by Jordan Smith. Yesterday's action, Smith to the plate 6 times. He had 2 base hits for Edward Waters. 3 runs batted in for him. 3 base on balls. He scored 2 runs, and he stole 5 bases over the 2 ball games on yesterday. There's a strike delivered there by Mason to Jordan Smith. So Mason ahead in the count for the first time in this first inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mason, or to Jordan Smith. 1 down, top of the first. Mason rocks and fires, bounced it up there, but a good block behind the plate by Stevens. Ramos at third, Medina down at second, 1 down. Mikael Mason trying to work his way out of this jam. 2 across already, bounced it up there. Stevens blocks it in front of him again, but the count goes full to 3-2. Mason seems to be laboring just a little bit on the hill right now for Tuskegee. 3-2 delivery. This one in tight, but too tight, and that's a walk there for Jordan Smith. Second base on balls issued in this first inning, along with a hit by pitch. So the base is loaded once again for Edward Waters, and Tyler Smith, the third baseman, he'll step in to the batter's box for Edward Waters. 1 down. First pitch up and out of the zone for ball 1. So Ramos at third, Medina at second, George Smith at first, and Tyler Smith ahead in the count. This one he's hit by a pitch, and he will take first base. So 2 hit batsmen here in this first inning, and that will send Ramos across the plate. Edward Waters with their 3rd run here at the top of the first. The bases remain loaded, and second hit batsman in this first inning by Mikael Mason. That'll bring up Luis Nunez, the second baseman, as Alex Glass is in with a word to Mikael Mason. Nunez on yesterday took over late in that first ball game, which Edward Waters won 11-7. After Mitchum was injured on a throw over to first base to retire, but it was Morrow that was running down the line for Tuskegee. And Mitchum injured on that throw, so he's out of the lineup this afternoon. It's Luis Nunez handling the action at second base. The junior from Jacksonville, 125 batting average, 5 plate appearances on yesterday, had 1 base hit, and scored twice for Edward Waters. He'll come to the plate with 1 down, top of the first. Bases loaded, 3 across already for Edward Waters. Mason squares, and the pitch. This one on the corner for strike 1. That's a good start to this sequence for Mason. Got to get that baseball in play. Delivers there, this one off the plate for ball 1. Trying to find that same zone on the outside corner, but missed in the right-hand batter's box. Nunez situated in the left-hand batter's box, throws right, but bats from the left side. 1-1 delivery by Mason with the bases loaded behind him. This one off the plate, ball 2. Trying to peck at that corner. 2-1 delivery from Mason. This one on the corner for strike 2. He's going to have to relax and let that pitch go. Trust the defense behind you to try to get it into play rather than walking the batters. 2-2 delivery here from Mason. There it is, chopped on just behind the mound. He'll field it there, turns to second for 1. They get him there. Across the plate is Medina to score. And Mikael had to elevate for that one at the mound, able to do so. Catches it and throws it down to second to retire 1 batter, but Medina crosses as Jordan Smith is picked off at second base. So they'll have runners at the corners now as Nunez is aboard on the fielder's choice. Correction, Tyler Smith picked off at second, and Jordan Smith over at third. To the plate now is Chase Morris, the center fielder for the Tigers of Edward Waters, and Morris looks at ball one. So Smith at third, Jordan Smith that is, and Luis Nunez over at first base. 1-1 pitch, or correction, 1 ball, no strike pitch is low and in the dirt. So the count now to 2 balls, no strikes on Chase Morris. Morris, the junior from Newport Richey, Florida. .291 batting average coming into the weekend. 2 down here in the top of the first. Mason looking to finish this inning up. That one gets away from the catcher Stevens, but runners not able to advance. Jordan Smith at third. Nunez, he will take second on the throw, though. And that'll make it 3 balls, no strikes on Chase Morris. Runners now at third and second for Edward Juarez. Pitch, that one's down the middle for a strike from Mason. 3-1 to Morris. Morris 4 plate appearances yesterday. 3 base hits for him. Drove in 3 for Edward Waters as he swings at one here and fouls it off to the right side. So Mikhail Mason battling back now, brings the count to full against Chase Morris. Morris had 2 runs yesterday, stole 3 bases, was hit twice by pitchers, got caught stealing once in the ball game. One of the contests on yesterday was the first one that he got caught stealing. This one chopped on again and fouled back by Morris, and the count remains full, 3-2. 2 down, top of the first. Tuskegee trailing 4-0 to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Not much hitting by Edward Waters at this point. They've just benefited from the pitching errors at this point. That pitch is low, and Morris is aboard at first base. So Morris draws the walk. Fourth walk of this first inning by Mason. 1 hit batsman, or 2 hit batsmen in this inning. And again, the base is loaded for Edward Waters. 4-0 lead, 2 out. First pitch there as they go back to the top of their order with Hutchinson at the plate. And he takes a pitch off the plate. And that'll make it 2 balls, no strikes. Tuskegee now getting pitchers warmed up in the bullpen down to our left. Pitch by Mason, chopped on and fouled by Hutchinson. Hutchinson was hit by a pitch to start the ball game for Edward Waters. He eventually came around to score. It's like a lefty warming up down in the Tuskegee bullpen to our left. 2-1 delivery, swung on and missed. Good pitch there by Mason. Bottom dropped out of that pitch, and that'll make it 2-2 on the count. First raindrops falling here on Saturday. And this one low and inside. The count full now at 3-2. Bounced away from Stevens, but he's able to run it down. 2 down here, top of the first. 3-2 count for Mason. Bases loaded behind him. Tuskegee trailing 4-0. McKell. Pitch on the inside, ball 4. So he walks Hutchinson for the second time, this time on a base on ball, so he's aboard. That will score Jordan Smith from third base, and that will push Tyler Smith over to third. Nunez down to second. I beg your pardon, Nunez over the third, and Chase Morris down to second base. And then Hutchinson's aboard at first. So Smith able to score, Tyler that is. That'll make it 5-0. And at the plate, it's the first baseman showing. So Edward Waters has batted around here in the top of the first. That pitch at eye level and off the plate. Tuskegee falling behind early here to Edward Waters, 5-0. 2 down, top of the first. Mason rocks and fires, delivers a strike there to make it 2-1. Nunez at third, Morris down at second, Hutchinson at first. Mason trying to leave him there after some mighty trouble here in this first inning. Mason with the pitch, this one on the ground. Glass at third. They'll run back and they'll get a tag there on Nunez, or Mace Morris at second base to finally retire Edward Waters here in the top of the fifth. And as Tuskegee comes up to the plate for the first time in the ball game, they find themselves behind 5-0 to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Take a break here on GTSN.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make to level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
And we are back live at Washington Field. Rain threatening here in the Tuskegee area. Just a few drops so far. Tuskegee looking to do a little bit of damage themselves. Right now, trailing 5-0. Need to rein in some base hits to kind of get things back even. They'll send to the plate Saffold, Slaughter, and Morrow, the first three in the lineup for head coach Chadwick Hall. Those three followed by Brooks, Alex Glass, then Devin Lee, Jabari Johnson, Josh Steve. First base, that's the batting order for Tuskegee in this ball game. Just a single contest on this Saturday morning. Teams played in doubleheader action on yesterday. Edward Waters able to win both of those ball games, so Tuskegee looking to salvage the third game of the three-game set. But right now they trail at 5-0 to Edward Waters. And most of that coming, they had one base hit in that first inning. Most of that base traffic created based upon walks and hit batsmen by starting pitcher Mikhail Mason for Tuskegee. We'll see if he comes back to the top of the second. As Tuskegee goes into the bottom half, they'll go against Alexander Davila, and Davila's first pitch is splits the plate for the first strike of the contest for him. Davila, 5.6 ERA, 6 wins, 1 loss for the Tigers of Edward Waters. Saffold in the box, took the first pitch for a strike. Davila delivers this one high and off the plate. Davila, 41 innings of work for Edward Waters coming into today's ball game. Teams batting .293 against the grad student from Orlando. Davila, second team all-conference pitcher for Edward Waters. This pitch in tight. Saffold displaying a good eye there as the count goes to 2-1. Saffold yesterday, 8 plate appearances. He swings at that pitch and grounds it to the shortstop. Easy hop there for Ramos, fires across to Diamond, and they retire John on the 6-3 putout. That'll bring James Slaughter up to the plate. Slaughter, not his best day from the plate on yesterday. 4 plate appearances, had that 1 base hit. 1 base on balls, he struck out 1 time. James, a little bit of difficulty on the base pass yesterday, was picked off at first base in the first contest, and later on he was caught stealing again on yesterday's play. different day. James steps in against Avila. Alexander Davila rocks and fires. Slaughter showing bunt, but pulled the bat back and took the first pitch for strike one. Bottom of the first, Edward Waters pushing across 5 in that front half of the inning. 5 base on balls issued by Mason for Tuskegee. A big part of that as to why Edward Waters with the 5-0 lead now. That pitch off the plate to the count 1-1 to James Slaughter as Davila toes the rubber, pitching from the stretch for Edward Waters. This one swatted out to center field. Morris giving chase. A couple of runs, steps in to his right, and he'll squeeze it there for out number 2. So the fly out to center field, and that'll bring up Ryan Morrow, the second baseman. Ryan steps in, sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida. Leads the team with the batting average of .375. 3 hits in yesterday's doubleheader. Takes a look at the first pitch. It's over for a strike from Davila. 3 runs scored by Morrow on yesterday, 2 base on balls. As he steps in here, behind in the count 0-1. Davila readies and fires. This one swatted on by Ryan and fouled off to the right side. So Morrow behind quickly in the count. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Tuskegee trailing 5-0 to Edward Waters. Alexander Davila on the mound for Edward Waters. And Ryan at the plate. 0-2 delivery from Davila. This one off the plate with the fastball. It's Tuskegee baseball on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Glad you could join us for our coverage. Doubleheader action on yesterday. Just a single game here from the ballpark as Morrow swings at that pitch and he comes up empty. So Morrow strikes out. So Davila takes Tuskegee 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the first. We head to the top of the second with Edward Waters leading it 5-0 over Tuskegee.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go Tigers!
And we are back live here in Washington Park as we head into the top of the second. 5-0 lead for the Tigers of Edward Waters over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Edward Waters batting around in that first inning. They'll send to the plate Torrey Jones to start the top of the second. Jones grounded out to Alex Glass at third base in the top of the first. And Michael Mason back on the hill now for Tuskegee. Jones steps in. He's the designated hitter for the Tigers of Edward Waters. Mason with the pitch. That one off the plate for ball 1. Looking for a better start here of the top of the second than in the first. Mason fires. Framed there by Stevens behind the plate, but no call from Al King. That one in too tight for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Mason rocks and fires. This one finds the plate on the inside corner. Nice pitch there from Mason. Count now 2 balls, 1 strike. Curveball. In too tight. Close to the knees for Torrey Jones. Count 3-1. Three-one delivery. That one's low, and Torrey Jones draws a walk here to start the top of the second. Six walks issued there by Mason, and head coach Chadwick Hall now headed to the mound for Tuskegee. They'll take the early here to his bullpen with a new pitcher. So Mason gets through 1 inning of pitching for Tuskegee. Gives up 5 runs. Edward nothing. We'll tell you.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15.
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
New pitcher for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee will be Makai Smith. Smith, the freshman, coming to this ball game, not having registered an ERA. Second appearance by him, only an inning pitched for the freshman. And he'll come in here, the lefty, to try to settle things here as Tuskegee trails 5-0. Makai Smith leaving the ball game after issuing 6 walks. And to start the top of the second, issued a walk to Torrey Jones. He's down at first base. And Edward Waters with a 5-0 lead here in the top of the second. So Coach Chadwick Hall, not exactly the start that he envisioned, and forced to really go to his bullpen a lot earlier than perhaps even anticipating in this rubber match with Edward Waters. Tuskegee losing both ball games yesterday in doubleheader play. Hoping for a better start here today as we talked to Coach Hall before the ball game. And everything starts and really finishes with what you do on the mound. And the rough start for Mason in the first inning pins Tuskegee behind 5-0. So Smith ready to go to work, and at the plate for Edward Waters, it's the shortstop Misael Ramos. Ramos followed by Medina. Torrey Jones, the designated hitter, already down at first base by virtue of the walk. So Smith ready, and the lefty over the first base, chasing Torrey Jones back. Smith to the plate. Starts this sequence off with a strike to Ramos. Different look for Tuskegee with Smith, the left-hander, and Edward Waters having to take a look at that. Mason was a right-hander that started this ball game as Smith takes a throw back over the first to drive Torrey Jones back. Ahead in the count, and this one looped off the plate for ball 1. Top of the second, Edward Waters with a 5-0 lead. Got those 5 runs with only 1 base hit to account for any of that in that first inning. This one chopped on And out in center field, backpedaling is Saffold, about 10 15 steps back, and Saffold able to make that catch for Tuskegee. So good pitch there from Smith. Gets his first out of the ball game. Ramos was retired on the fly out to center field. That'll bring up the catcher, Medina. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Jordan Smith. Torrey Jones down at first base for Edward Waters. He drew a walk from Mason before Mason departed the baseball game. Freshman peering in for the sign, going back over the first base. Torrey Smith, we referenced our Torrey Jones for Edward Waters yesterday. Had 4 base on balls yesterday, as this pitch is low on the inside from Smith. Pitch at the plate, popped up, hustling toward that, and catch going to be made there. Coming out of the crouch was Stevens. Good jump by him. Saw that ball, followed it, and got that catch right in front of the railing, right in front of the Edward Waters bench for out number 2. So Medina's retired. And that'll bring up Jordan Smith. Boy, would it be great here if Smith can get out of this jam with a walk to Torrey Jones to start the inning by Mason to take them 3 up and 3 down after that. Smith steps in. He drew a base on balls in the first inning and eventually scored. Over to first with the throw is Smith. Smith with the pitch to the plate. Good pitch by him on the looper, and he's got it over for strike 1. A little late action on a curveball there to get ahead in the count. No balls, 1 strike. Back to the plate again. Fastball off the plate, throw down the first, and he throw it away in the right field. Stevens trying to see if he couldn't catch Torrey Jones leaning, and he threw it down to first base, but bounced it down there and in the right field, so Jones down to second base. So he'll get that base on the throwing error from behind the plate. And at the plate, it's Jordan Smith continuing his bat. 2 balls, 1 strike to him. We're at the top of the second. Edward Waters with a 5-0 lead. Jones down at second base. 2-1 delivery here from Smith. Rocks and fires. That one high in the zone. Count to 3-1. 2 down. And Smith looking to see if he can put a 0 here for Edward Waters here in the top of the second. Smith fires, and that one's off the plate for a ball and a walk issued to Jordan Smith. So Smith with his second base on balls in this contest. He's down at first. He'll join Torrey Jones on the base pads. Jones down at second. He walked. And he got down to second base after a throwing error from the catcher Stevens, trying to catch him leaning at first base. So 2 down. This inning continues. And stepping to the plate now is Tyler Smith. Pitch to Smith. That one over for a strike from Mackay Smith for Tuskegee. Torrey Jones at second. Jordan Smith at first for Edward Waters. Smith to the plate. Curveball inside, blocked by Stevens behind the plate. Neither runner able to advance. Count at 1-1. Smith looks to second. Comes to the plate with the pitch. That one in tight for ball 2. Smith on in relief of Mason early in this ball game. Retired the first 2 batters he's faced. But since then has walked Jordan Smith. 2-1 here. And that one off the plate, 3-1 to Tyler Smith. Inherited Torrey Jones who's down at second, who walked on Mason. 3-1 to Tyler Smith on its way, and it's chopped on and fouled out of play right side. So the count full now with 3-2, 2 down, top of the second. Tuskegee trying to come out of the second inning unscathed. Leave the 2 runners aboard where they are. Smith here on a 3-2. See what pitch he makes here. 3-2, chopped on, a line drive out in the left field. Circling there and bobbled there and turning to score as they throw it into third base. And an out there at third base. They got Jordan Smith trying to stretch it to third, but the run will score for Edward Waters as they were able to send Torrey Jones to the plate on the base hit out in the left field, but they get Jordan Smith trying to slide into third on the out there. And a good throw there from left field from Jacoby Brooks. And that'll be 7-5 on that put out to end the top of the first, the second that is, but another run across for Edward Waters. They lead it 6-1. As we head into the bottom of the second, Tuskegee will send up Brooks, Glass, and Lee in the bottom of the second.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15.
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Back live in Washington Field, taking a look inside that Tuskegee dugout. Head coach Chadwick Hall trying to rally his troops now. Tuskegee trailing 6-0. Bottom of the second, they will send up Jacoby Brooks, Alex Glass, and Devin Lee. Brooks playing left field with a good throw there to end the bottom of the top of the second for Edward Waters as he threw it to third base and was able to pick off Jordan Smith, who was trying to slide in and stretch that play after a single out in the left by Tyler Smith. So Brooks to the plate now for Tuskegee. 8 plate appearances in the 2 ball games on yesterday. Jacoby with 2 hits from those appearances. He'll step in as Davila on the mound from the stretch and the delivery. Curveball in tight for ball 1. Pushing Jacoby off the plate, the freshman, ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. .320 batting average for Brooks coming into the series this weekend. Davila rocks and fires and bounces that one up there. The count, 2 balls, no strikes to Brooks. Brooks looking to become the first base runner of this ball game for Tuskegee. Tuskegee retired in order at the bottom of the first. 6-0 lead for Edward Waters. This one chopped on, a fly ball out to center field. Morris comes in a few steps, raises the glove, and watches that baseball parachute down in it for out number 1. So Brooks flies out to center field, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Alex Glass. Glass, the senior from Birmingham, Alabama, .333 batting average. Glass slugging percentage at .510. Leads the team in doubles with 5, or tied with 5. He and Ryan Morrow at 5 doubles each, tied for first on the team. First pitch in for a strike on Alex. Davila rocks and fires, curveball, that one over for a strike as well. Early count now, no balls, 2 strikes, Davila ahead. Devin Lee on deck for Tuskegee. Davila with the pitch. This one Inside, they went back with the curveball again, this time in tight for ball 1. Glass on yesterday, 6 plate appearances, had that home run in the first ball game, or in the second contest, to tighten things up for Tuskegee. 3 RBI on yesterday. Swings at this one, grounds it to Nunez at second base. He'll flip it over to Showing at first, and they retire Alex Glass. So the shortstop, Devin Lee, now to the plate for Tuskegee, trying to become the team's first base runner of the ball game. Brooks flew out to center field, and Glass now grounding out to the second baseman. First 2 outs here in the bottom of the second for Tuskegee. Lee, a sophomore from Atlanta. Davila with the first pitch. That's in for a strike. Devin on yesterday over the 2 ball games, total of 4 errors. So after the last ball game on yesterday, he was out at shortstop taking some fielding practice, as head coach Chadwick Hall was hitting balls to him, and Devin constantly working on his ball game from the field level. He's hit by a pitch there, and he's aboard at first base. So Devin will be the first base runner for Tuskegee in the ball game, as Davila issues his first base on balls. This one issues this one by virtue of let Devin Lee with a pitch. They throw back over there quickly, and Devin sliding back in. 2 down, bottom of the second. Tuskegee with his first runner. Lee aboard after being hit by a pitch. That brings up Jabari Johnson. And Johnson, the designated hitter, takes that first pitch for a ball. Johnson, the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia, as Davila throws back over the first base and almost out of the reach of Shoney. Back over again. And once again, a throw over the first base, trying to keep Devin Lee close. And another throw over. Lee on the season, just 2 stolen bases. So the concern as they keep throwing over there again to keep him tight. I'm not real sure if the stats bear out these number of throws over the first. But Davila from the heel, now pitch high and in the zone. And no swing there by Jabari Johnson. Started at it, but able to hold up, and that'll make it 2 balls, no strikes. 2 down, bottom of the second. Tuskegee trailing 6-0. Davila with the pitch, that same spot, and that one's off the plate for ball 3. So Johnson looking to see if he can't join Devin Lee on the base pads. Certainly going to be taking all the way here with a 3-0 count, trailing 6-0. Davila rocks and fires and threw it out of the zone for ball 4. So Johnson's aboard. He walks. And Tuskegee with 2 aboard here in the bottom of the second. And that'll bring up the catcher, Joshua Stevens. Stevens, a freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, steps in, looking for his first hit for Tuskegee this season. Davila rocks and fires. This one swung on and hit out the left field, but tracking that one, coming closer toward the infield is Hutchinson. He will squeeze it there, and Tuskegee leaves Lee and Johnson on the base pads as we end the bottom of the second. Tuskegee trailing 6-0 to the Tigers of Edward Waters.
5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Back live here at Washington Field, Luis Nunez with the bat in his hand, set to come to the plate for Edward Waters. Edward Waters with a 6-0 lead. Tyler Smith finished the bottom of the second for them with a single out in the left field. But it was a throw at third base from Jacoby Brooks to pick off Jordan Smith. He was trying to come in at third base to stretch it, to get aboard at third to end that inning. So Nunez to the plate now to start the top of the third for Edward Waters. Makai Smith came on in relief for Mikael Mason at the start of the second inning. Mason got through the first, and first batter in the fourth, the top of the second, he walked, and then Smith was summoned from the bullpen from head coach Chadwick Hall, and he's on the mound now. Gave up a run in the last inning, but that run credited to Mason. And it'll be Nunez here in the top of the third, followed by Chase Morris, and then back to the top of their order with Caden Hutchinson. First matchup, Nunez from the left side of the plate. He'll be facing the lefter, Makai Smith. Nunez got a board in the bottom of the first on a fielder's choice. And there's a pitch bunted down the left field line and wide of the bag for strike one. Oh, one delivery. And good looking pitch there, but no call from Al King from behind the plate. That one bounced up there and off the plate. That'll make it 2 balls, 1 strike. Top of the third inning, Tuskegee trailing 6-0. And the delivery there at the plate is up and out of the zone to take it. And that delivers in for ball 4. And Nunez is aboard with a walk to start the top of the third. Coming back to the plate now will be the center fielder Chase Morris. After another walk, and Nunez is at and Smith throw over to first to try to chase him back. Morris, he walked in the bottom of the first. Inning ended with him down at second base. That pitch off the plate and bounced up there, so it'll be ball 1 to Morris. Throw back over the first. They chase Nunez back. As Morris steps back in. This one out in the left field into that gap, and it'll roll toward the fence line. So Morris Smacked it out in the left. Rounding third and scoring will be Nunez. And Morris sliding into third base. He will wind up with a triple for Edward Waters. Good hustle by him to round the bases after he knew it. He knew it was a gapper. And he started his motor and got all the way around the third for a triple. And he scores Nunez, so he'll get the RBI, and he'll end up at third base. They go back to the top of the order now. Hutchinson set to step in. Top of the third. 7-0 lead for Edward Waters. Hutchinson takes a look at the first pitches, which up and off the plate. So Morris at third after the triple. That pitch off the plate for ball 2. $7-0 lead for Edward Waters. Smith readies and fires to the plate. This one snapped by Glass at third base. Good job by him defensively. Across the diamond with the throw to Evan Jones, and they retire Hutchinson. And staying put at third was Morris. Good defensive play there by Alex Glass at third base. One down here, top of the third. That will bring a showing to the plate for Edward Waters. Morris at third base. They are trying to pick him up there. Pitch off the plate. And that will start the sequence. 1 ball and no strikes. And ball 2 delivered off the plate by Smith. Chase Morris down at third for Edward Waters. At the plate, Hugo Showing, the first baseman. Showing scored in that first inning. They got 5, Edward Waters did there. And he takes a look at a ball down low on the inside. Since then, Edward Waters pushed 1 across in the second. And 1 already across here in the third. They lead 7-0. One down, top of the third. Morris down at third base. Smith readies and pitches. This one up high for ball 4. So Showing is aboard with a walk. Second walk issued this inning. So runners at the corners now. And Coach Hall headed toward the mound for Tuskegee. See if he'll make a pitching change here. Looking out toward left field, or actually looking a little bit closer than that. I think he's going to get Alex Glass in from third base to the mound as Smith departs. And no, stand corrected on that. It won't be Glass that'll be at the mound. Looks like they're going to bring in Ryan Morrow, I believe, from second base. Well, we have a pitching change. We'll unsort things after this timeout. We'll introduce you to the new pitcher after this break on GTSN.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Golden Tiger fans, I'm Anthony Holloman, Commissioner of the SIAC, and this is Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Back live here at Washington Field On the mound now for the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee, it'll be Ryan Morrow coming in from second base to take the hill. Morrow, 2.5 ERA, 1 win for Tuskegee. This will be his 5th pitching appearance for Tuskegee. 7 innings pitched by Morrow during the course of the season. 4 base hits, 6 runs given up by him. Teams batting 190 against him. So Morrow will take the mound. He will be replaced at second base by Chris Smith, the sophomore from Atlanta, as he takes his warm-ups at second base. And Tuskegee trailing 7-0 here in the top of the 3rd. Morrow will take the hill, 1 out, and he'll do so as Torrey Jones gets set to come back to the plate for Edward Waters. Nunez has already crossed the plate here in the top of the 3rd. Chase Morris that is down at third base. He tripled to bring in Nunez, who got aboard on a walk. And now Jones stepping in for Edward Waters, with Morris down at 3rd. So the versatile Ryan Morrow, the sophomore from St. Petersburg, on the hill. Down at first base after walking is showing. Morrow with the pitch, line drive out in the right field. That's going to get down in the corner. So Jones will round first base. Morris scores from 3rd. They will wave showing from first base. He will score. And over to third base on a triple, it is Torrey Jones for Edward Waters. So Jones with a triple. And Edward Waters able to push across a couple more runs here in the top of the 3rd. So Jones able to clear the bases with his triple. And scoring is Chase Morris and showing from first base. So now the lead up to 9-0 for Edward Waters, and to the plate is the shortstop, Misael Ramos. Morrow, curveball over for the strike for Tuskegee. Oh, Edward Waters taking advantage early on of some walks in the ball game, and now starting to hit the ball a little bit more significantly as they down one there in left field for a base hit, and that'll score Jones from third base. And on the base pads, after that hit with a single, they push another across. So Ramos singles out to left, and Jones crosses the plate, and that'll make it 10-0 Edward Waters. Catcher C.J. Medina, he'll step in now. 1 down here in the top of the 3rd. Medina takes a look at ball 1 off the plate there from Ryan Morrow. So Ramos down at first. He'll pick up the RBI. And a throw over the first base. And back standing there is Ramos. Morrow with the pitch. This one hitting Medina, and Medina down to first base. So Medina hit by the pitch, and down to second base goes Ramos, and Medina the first, and that'll bring up George Smith. 1 down here, top of the 3rd. Ramos and Smith aboard, or Medina aboard, as Morrow comes to the plate. Fastball by Morrow is up high for a ball. Just 1 down, top of the 3rd, 10-0 lead for Edward Waters. Tuskegee having different hopes when this ball game started. And a curveball over there by Morrow, but those hopes quickly dashing here with some early pitching issues for Tuskegee in terms of the number of walks and hit batsmen. Allowed 5 to cross in the first. And we've had scoring for the Tigers in every inning since then. This one shot out into the gap. That'll get down for a base hit and cutting it off there. But after scoring again for Edward Waters, this time crossing the plate, it'll be Ramos. And that's a single out or stand-up double there out into left field from the bat of Jordan Smith. So now Medina over the third. Ramos scored and Smith with a double. That'll bring up the third baseman, Tyler Smith. Jordan Smith down with a double. Tyler Smith following here. Back-to-back hits for Edward Waters. They lead at 11-0. Morrow to the plate with the pitch. That one's high and off the plate. Medina at third. And Jordan Smith at second. Pitch at the plate. Gets by the catcher Stevens, and coming to the plate to score is Medina for Edward Waters, and Jordan Smith moves over to third. So Edward Waters now with one down here in the top of the third, about to bat around again here in this inning. Inning started with Nunez, and with one down, Tyler Smith to the plate, and then it'll be Nunez back to start things over for Edward Waters. 1 ball, 1 strike to Smith. Pitch swung on, chopped to the second baseman, bobbled there, but following that play nicely defensively was Devin Lee to pick it up after it was bobbled at second base by Chris Smith, and Lee got the out at first base, but unfortunately that was enough time on that play for Smith to score from third base. So Smith crosses, and that'll make it 12-0, 13-0 Edward Waters with 2 down here in the inning. It really will go down as a 4-6-3 double 6-3 put out by Tuskegee, as Smith bobbled it momentarily, but Devin Lee always headsy there defensively. There near that play, picked it up and able to get the throw over to first for the out. So 2 down here in the top of the third. Back to the Nunez to the plate, who started this inning. That was before they had this 7-run push here in the top of the third. So Nunez got a walk, and he scored in this inning. And this third inning continues. And a little blooper foul there just wide of first base by Nunez. Morrow is trying to finish things up in this inning for Tuskegee. 2 balls, 1 strike to Nunez, 2 down. Morrow with the pitch. Curveball off the plate. They'll take it to 3-1. Bases clear now for Edward Waters, as they've run across 7 at the dish to take a 13-0 lead. Morrow with the pitch, swatted out in the center field, tracking it as Saffold. John with the one-handed grab in center field to retire Edward Waters, but not before more significant damage is done. They push across 7 here in the top of the third. They lead 13-0. Tuskegee to the plate after the timeout.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, Alabama, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood, and by Vibes Restaurant. We're all about good vibes.
Hi, I'm Aaron James, head coach at the Tuskegee University. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go TU.
Back live here at Washington Field, Tuskegee trailing it 13-0 to the Tigers of Edward Waters. SIAC baseball action, Tuskegee. Early pitching issues here in this contest. And now Edward Waters starting to bring their bats alive. They lead at 13-0. We go to the bottom of the third in Tuskegee. They will go with Evan Jones, the first baseman, trying to see if they can't get something started here in the bottom of the third. Jones in yesterday's play to the plate 5 times. And Evan, not one of his better days, 3 strikeouts for the Golden Tigers. Got 2 base on balls on yesterday as he takes the first look at a pitch here, which is across the plate from Davila for a strike. Tuskegee, after today's play, back in action on Wednesday as this pitch has popped up, headed toward the Edward Waters dugout and running out of room there. Chasing it was Schoening from first base, but Jones, Tuskegee back in action on Wednesday against on April 9th against Point University at 2 o'clock. That's the coverage we'll have for you on the Golden Tiger Sports Network. More play from Tuskegee on the road in between that ball game. But our next set of coverage of Tuskegee athletics will feature softball action on April 5th and 6th from the softball complex here at Tuskegee University, as the Golden Tigers will host the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State Saturday with a doubleheader at 1 and 3, and Sunday a 1 o'clock ball game against the Thoroughbreds. That's on the softball side. And Evan Jones takes a look at strike number 3, and he is retired for Tuskegee here in the bottom of the third. So back to the top of the order, John Saffold steps in for Tuskegee. He'll be followed by James Slaughter. Davila, obviously with a 13-0 lead, he's cruising along for Edward Waters. He just wants to stay true to the strike zone and has to get his defense to help him as they cruise ahead 13-0. Saffold fouls the first pitch off right side. Tuskegee came into this ball game 9th in the SIAC in baseball standings. Edward Waters at number 4. Tuskegee looking inside at the top 8, hoping he would get some traction by defeating Edward Waters in this series. But gonna have to regroup after that. Davila with that pitch, just a bit off the plate, counted 1-1. Saffold settles back in the box. John grounded out to the shortstop, Marcel Ramos, last time up. 1 down here, bottom of the third. Pitch, that one driven out to right field, and Saffold puts it down on the grass. He'll take the turn, looking for second. Here's the throw down to second base, is offline, so Saffold in with a double for Tuskegee here in the bottom of the third. Good job by Saffold. Drove that one out to right field, got on his horse, and slid into second with the double for Tuskegee. So the junior from Tuskegee continuing to be a bright spot for Golden Tigers baseball. .352 batting average. You'll add to it with that double and down at second base. That'll bring up James Slaughter, the right fielder. He flew out to center field his last time up, squares to bunt. Davila looking back at second plate. Base comes to the plate, and that one's fouled off left side by Slaughter. James showing an early bunt there, trying to see if he couldn't push Saffold over to third base, pulled the back instead, swung at it and fouled it off. 0-1, that one off the plate for ball one. Davila, second team all-conference pitcher for Edward Waters. Pitch clock at 5, he fires. That's James took a look at that one and took it for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down, bottom of the third. John Saffold doubled for Tuskegee. He's standing down at second base, looking to see if he can't get picked up here. Slaughter down in the count 1-2. Throw back to second base. Saffold back in there easily. Ryan Morrow with the bat. He would be next. That one chopped on just wide of third base. So Slaughter stays alive with 1-2 the count. 1 down, bottom of the third. Evan Jones striking out. Saffold with the double. He's down at second base, and John James Slaughter now down in the count 1-2. Davila gets together with Medina on the pitch. This one's fouled at the plate by James Slaughter to stay alive. Overcast day here in Tuskegee. Medina with the 1-2 pitch on his way to the plate. This one just off the plate. Good take there from Slaughter. He'll take the count to 2-2. Had a couple of raindrops early on, but none showing right now. Tuskegee moving this ball game to 10 with the idea of inclement weather coming in later. 2-2. Chopped on, pop up just beyond third base. Smith back pedals. He'll squeeze it there for out number 2. Trying to find some grass on that was Slaughter out in left field. Just did not hit it deep enough. And he pops up to Tyler Smith at third base. So that'll bring up Morrow. Ryan Morrow started this ball game at second base, but now pitching for Tuskegee. Got called in the top half of the third. He'll come to the plate with Saffold down at second, who doubled. 2 down, bottom of the third. Davila to the plate with the pitch. Curveball popped up. This one out in the center field. Chase Morris looks at it into the overcast skies here in Tuskegee. Pulls it down for out number 3. So Morrow retired on the fly out to center, and so is Tuskegee in the bottom of the third. So the double by Saffold does not benefit the Golden Tigers. They leave him stranded at second base. We go into the fourth. 13-0 lead for Edward Waters.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Back live here at Washington Field. Scoreboard referencing the fact that Edward Waters with a commanding lead, 13-0 as we head to the top of the fourth. Tuskegee with some early pitching problems in the first inning. Edward Waters able to take advantage of significant number of walks there by Mikael Mason, who started this ball game for Tuskegee, to push across 5 in the first. They got 1 in the second, and they got 7 in the third. After a couple of pitching changes from Tuskegee, and now the bats of Edward Waters really waking up in that third inning. They lead it 13-0, and they will send up Chase Morris to start the top of the fourth. Ryan Morrow pulled in from second base to do the pitching now for Tuskegee. Inherited a couple of runners when he got to the mound. See if he can settle things down here just to keep things where they are in the top of the fourth. Rocks and fires. That one in for a strike against Chase Morris. Morris tripled his last time up, came around to score for Edward Waters. Faces a no ball, one strikeout here. Ryan, this one, same location, strike two. Morrow with on the ground, Devin hand throw at first base to retire Chase Morris. Devin Lee, just such an athlete there, scooped that baseball with the glove hand, lost it on the transition, trying to flip it to the right hand to throw it. Just lost it for a fraction of a second, but able to catch it and still throw over to get the out. Just a good play there by Devin Lee at shortstop. So that'll bring up Hutchinson, top of the order again for Edward Waters. That pitch off the plate and to the backstop for ball one against Hutchinson. Hutchinson grounded out to Alex Glass on a sharply hit ball at third his last time up. Morrow with the pitch. That one eyesight level for ball two. We're in the top of the fourth. This is a 7-inning ball game. Tuskegee right now trailing at 13-0 to Edward Waters. Morrow with the pitch. This one chopped on, a dribbler foul wide of third. And back to the box comes Hutchinson for Edward Waters. 2-1 count, one down, top of the fourth. In the bottom, Tuskegee will send up Brooks, Glass, and Lee. Morrow with the pitch, curveball, that's over for the strike. 2-2 after a perfectly placed curveball from Ryan Morrow. One down, top of the fourth. Base is empty. Ryan with the pitch. Tried to go in that same location, but missed on the inside to count full now to Hutchinson. Chase Morris grounded out to Lee at shortstop. One down, top of the fourth. 3-2 delivery here by Morrow. This one chopped on. Third base Glass fills it there. Alex across the diamond with the throw, and absolutely on target with the throw. That duo of Alex Glass at third and Devin Lee at shortstop. One of the best duos in the SIAC. Good fielding play there by Alex Glass on a high chopper. Caught it right at the blade of the grass and able to change on hands on the run and threw a strike across the diamond to retire Hutchinson. The 5-3 put out, 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the fourth, showing the first baseman now at the plate. Takes that first pitch over for a strike from Ryan Morrow. Showing base on balls last time he got to the plate, eventually scored. Ryan rocks and fires. This one, same spot, same call. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here, top of the fourth. 0-2 delivery here to Showing. Tried to go back into that same spot with the fastball. This one just a little bit low. Count goes to 1-2. 2 down, top of the 4th. 1-2 delivery from Morrow. Curveball on the ground. This time Alex Glass backs up, fields, loops it across the diamond, high throw. But Evans Jones able to elevate, get it, and come back down on the bag. So Ryan Morrow goes 3 up, 3 down against the Tigers of Edward Waters here in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom half. Tuskegee trailing at 13-0.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross-country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. Go Tigers!
Back live here in Washington Field. Congratulations, Coach Jones, selected as the Coach of the Year for her work with the indoor track and field program at Tuskegee University. Tuskegee back at the plate now. Brooks set to step in for the Golden Tigers, trying to cut into a 13-0 deficit to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Tuskegee back in action on Tuesday of this week. They will travel to Augusta for doubleheader play on Tuesday against the Lions of Payne College, 12 and 3 o'clock. And then on next Saturday, Savannah State down at Savannah for a weekend series on Saturday and Sunday. Just 2 ball games there, one on Saturday at 3 and Sunday at 12. I beg your pardon, a doubleheader on Saturday and Sunday at 12 and 3. And then we'll get back to coverage on Tuskegee baseball on the following Wednesday, April the 9th here at Washington Field as they host the Skyhawks of Point University. Right now, we're in the bottom of the 4th. Tuskegee trying to play the run here in this ball game, trailing 13-0 to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Davila on the mound, and he will start Jacoby Brooks off with a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Brooks, Glass, Lee, the 3 for Tuskegee in the bottom of the 4th. Chopped on by Brooks and fouled off right side. Tuskegee finally able to put a 0 up on the column for Edward Waters in the top of the 4th, with Ryan Morrow retiring them 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 4th. This one up the middle and through for a base hit by Jacoby Brooks. Brooks got it past Nunez, who was headed toward the bag, but sharply hit by Jacoby, and he's aboard to start the 4th. That'll bring up Alex Glass. Glass with a couple of defensive stops there in the top half of this inning. And he'll come to the plate. He grounded out to the short, to second baseman his first time up. He'll come to the plate now with Brooks at first base, who had a clean single. The rest at first. Davila squaring, pitch, and a throw down to first base. Back in under the tag is Brooks. And the first pitch to Glass is a ball off the plate. Top of the 4th, Devin Lee on deck for Tuskegee. Davila, they square, they got the bunt down the first base line. The only play they got is first base. Davila flips it there to Showing, who was covering at the back. So Alex is retired, but Alex does his job as he pushes Brooks down to second base. And that'll give over to Devin Lee. So on the fielder's choice, Alex is retired, and Brooks to second. Devin Lee, the shortstop, steps in now. So Brooks in scoring position. And Avila to the plate. Curveball over to third base, trying to take a steal there, and sliding underneath that tag is Jacoby Brooks. So Jacoby steals third base. And now he's just 90 feet away from Tuskegee getting his first run of this ball game. Pitch was a strike to Devin. And Davila at the mound now fires on a curveball. That one's over for the strike, and he's ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 down, bottom of the 4th. Tuskegee with his best scoring opportunity here. Brooks got a single, took second base. Or he got to second base on a fielder's choice put out of Alex Glass. And now he stole third base. So Tuskegee trailing a 13-0 chance here to push a run, as Lee is at the plate, but Devin's behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Vila with the pitch to the... So Devin strikes out. Beg your pardon, instead of him batting in that order, it'll be Chris Smith, who came on to replace Morrow at second base. So Smith swings at the first pitch and fouls it off right side. So he'll take the place in terms of Johnson in the lineup, and Smith in the hitting order for Tuskegee. Smith swings at their first pitch and fouls it off right side. So down in the count, no balls, 1 strike. Down at third base, Jacoby Brooks. Pitch to Smith, curveball, and Chris comes up empty on that curveball from Davila. Smith, a .231 batting average. No balls, 2 strikes. He's behind in the count. Brooks down at third base with 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. Davila trying to keep Tuskegee scoreless on an 0-2 pitch. This one popped up and out in the right field. And barely having to move out in right field for the easy catch there was Jordan Smith, and that retires Tuskegee here in the bottom of the 4th. Golden Tigers threaten. They leave Brooks stranded at third. We head to the 5th. Edward Waters with a 13-0 lead.
Are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Welcome back, everybody, to Washington Field. We're live at Tuskegee University, heading into the 5th inning. Edward Waters with a 13-0 lead over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Edward Waters trying to sweep Tuskegee here in a series that started yesterday in doubleheader action. Edward Waters won the first ball game 11-7. Tuskegee really made a big charge in that second ball game, just ran out of innings and lost the second one 8-5. And right now, this one, Edward Waters with a 13-0 lead as we head into the top of the 5th. They will send up Torrey Jones, Misael Ramos, and C.J. Medina, the 3 for head coach Reginald Johnson. This one slated for just 7 innings here at Tuskegee. As Jones comes back to the plate, he tripled his last time up for Edward Waters. Ryan Morrow on the mound for Tuskegee. Finally able to put a 0 up for Edward Waters in the last frame as he took him 3 up and 3 down. See if he can duplicate that here in the top of the 5th. Morrow with the first pitch to Jones on the inside for ball 1. Jones, second team all-conference player for Edward Waters. Named his second team as an outfielder and as a designated hitter. He has been in that secondary role all series long as a DH for Edward Waters. He's not played defensively in this series, but he has delivered for them from that DH position. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Morrow set to deliver here, top of the 5th. This one out in the right field, if it'll get down, but circling there in the foul territory. Good hustle there by James Slaughter to run that one down. Just not visible from our camera for just a second, but got into it and slid right across the chalk to catch it in foul territory, and they retire Torrey Jones here in the top of the 5th. Nice play out in right field from James Slaughter. Good jump on that baseball. So Misael Ramos, the shortstop, now steps up. Morrow with the pitch there, bounced up there for ball 1. Ramos singled his last time up in the bottom of the 3rd. Eventually scored. Morrow rocks and fires. This one chest high for strike 1. Count at 1-1. We've got 1 down here in the top of the 5th. Morrow, this one chopped and a foul ball at the plate. And Ramos down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Steady work there by Ryan Morrow since coming into this ball game from Tuskegee on the hill. Swung on, foul tipped, and held on to by Stevens for the strikeout. So Morrow records his first strikeout here. Comes in the top of the 5th on Ramos. That'll bring up the catcher, C.J. Medina. Medina scored in the 3rd as well. Got on board with a base on balls. So 2 down. Morrow with the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Medina. Ryan, noted mostly for his work as an infielder at second base and his work with the bat for Tuskegee. But showing a lot of poise on the mound for the Golden Tigers. Bounces that one up there, count to 1-1. Only his 5th appearance on the mound for Tuskegee this season, but has been impressive since he took the hill. Ahead in the count here, and that one just a bit off the plate, beg your pardon. The count at 2-1 against Medina, the catcher for Edward Waters. 2 down, top of the 5th. Morrow flexes that right pitching hand. Now fires to the plate. This one on the ground, wide of third base for a foul ball. Count at even, 2-2. Two down, top of the 5th. Curveball, this one wide of third again. So count to 2-2 now. Medina steps back in. Morrow trying to see if he can't dispatch him and close the top of the 5th. Ryan rocks and fires from the mound. This one bounced up there. Count taking a full now at 3-2. Back on the campus, GTSN is On Saturday, softball action from the softball field at Kentucky State visiting the Golden Tigers softball program. 3-2 on the ground. Bouncer there. Smith fields, throws over the first, and they retire Medina and Edward Waters here in the top of the fifth. They go in order, and Tuskegee in the bottom of the fifth will try to come back from a 13-0 lead here as they'll send 3 to the plate when we return here on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Hi, I'm Billy Knight, former general manager of the Atlanta Hawks, and this is the Golden Tigers Sports Network.
And we're back live here at Washington Field. A couple of issues got to get straight here with regard to the ball game itself. This ball game initially told it was going to be a 7-inning contest, but it will be a 9-inning contest if it goes that long. Right now it's a 13-0 lead for Edward Waters over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee, and trying to get some understanding from the coaching staff with regard to if there is a run rule in place here for the 9-inning ball game. Not sure if Edward Waters is at it with a 13-0 lead, but we'll let it unfold as it naturally does and then get told from the officials where we really stand as it relates to any call of this being any earlier. Right now it's a 13-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the fifth, and Tuskegee trying to cut into that deficit. They will send up the catcher, Josh Stevens. And on the mound, Davila still hurling for the Tigers of Edward Waters. First pitch delivered to Stevens is off the plate inside for ball 1. Stevens flew out to center field or left field his last time up. And Davila with the pitch. This one chopped on to the third baseman, trying to fight it off. Can't do so. It's out in left field. So Stevens is aboard. That'll be a base hit for him. As ranging to his left, Smith not able to get there, so Josh is aboard for Tuskegee. That'll bring up Evan Jones. Evans struck out his last time up in the bottom of the third. So Smith with a base hit, or Stevens that is, he's at first base. And Evan Jones steps in now for Tuskegee. Davila with the pitch, this one cracked and out in the left field. In his tracks is Hutchinson. He'll watch that one come down in his glove for out number 1, and Evan is retired for Tuskegee on that one pitch. So back to the top of the order now. Saffold steps in. John doubled his last time up, got left on the base pads. He'll be followed by James Slaughter. Inning started. Josh Stevens with a base hit in the left field. He's at first base. Davila takes a look over his shoulder at him at first. Now to the plate with the pitch. This one line drive up the middle by Saffold. So John continuing his hot hitting for Tuskegee. He's aboard, and he pushes Stevens down to second base after his single up the middle. That'll bring Slaughter to the plate now with runners at second and first. And substituting in the lineup for Slaughter batting now, it'll be Rodney Mudd the second. So Mudd batting for Slaughter. Slaughter popped up to third baseman his last time up, and Mudd steps in now. Rodney, the sophomore from Stone Mountain, one bat in yesterday's doubleheader, but came on in to pitch for Tuskegee. Got 2 innings of work in there. Out the right field, shoots it that way, the backside, but sliding there with the catch is Jordan Smith. He'll make it, and the runners have to hold. So the first pitch, Mudd was swinging. Right in the tracks was Jordan Smith. And that'll bring up Ryan Morrow. Moran on the mound now for Tuskegee. Normally plays second base. Chance here with some runners out front of him for an RBI. 2 down, bottom of the 5th. Davila looks at the runners, now to the plate with the pitch. That one's off the plate for ball 1. Stevens down at second, Saffold at first. Here's the pitch. That one low and inside to Morrow. Two down, bottom of the 5th. Davila set and a delivery. That one over for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Morrow. Ryan taking all the way on that pitch. Two balls, 1 strike, and here's the pitch. This one up the middle, and that'll get down for the base hit. Fielded it and bobbled it out in center field, and coming across the score for Tuskegee is Joshua Stevens. So Stevens plates the first run of the ball game for Tuskegee after a hit out in the center field by Ryan Morrow. Ball bobbled there, and over to third base goes Saffold, and down at first on the single is Ryan. So Ryan with the RBI, and Tuskegee gets on the scoreboard 13-1. Jacoby Brooks set to come in at the plate now for Tuskegee. Brooks singled his last time up. Runners at the corners with 2 down. Saffold at third, Morrow at first. Davila with the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Jacoby. That one up in the zone, chest high. Jacoby just not able to catch up with it. No balls, 1 strike. Runners at the corners for Tuskegee. Davila settles in and gets set to come to the plate with the pitch. Curveball, that's out of the zone, counted 1-1. Nobody working in the Edward Waters bullpen at this point. Throw back over the first, and they chase Ryan back. Count at 1-1 to Jacoby Brooks. Two down delivery. That's off the plate from Davila. Tuskegee already with a run across here in the bottom of the 5th. Stevens singled, comes around to score after a single from Morrow. 2-2. That one's swung on and missed by Jacoby Brooks. Now to count, beg your pardon, at 2-2 after he missed on that swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bottom of the 5th. 2-2 delivery from Davila. That one up in the eye level there of Brooks. Count at full, 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch by Davila. And the walk's drawn there by Brooks. Good eye there by Jacoby, so he's aboard, and the bases are loaded now for Tuskegee. So base on balls there, and that'll push, that'll keep Saffold at third. Morrow down to second, and Brooks over at first on the walk. So they're loaded now for Alex Glass. Glass hit a home run on yesterday. Load them here with a drive out of here on this pitch. Takes that first pitch across the plate for strike one. Alex got on a fielder's choice his last time up. Behind in the count here, no balls, one strike. Curveball just off the plate there by Davila on that delivery. He wanted that call, and so did Medina from behind the plate. Set it's 1-1. 2 down, bottom of the fifth. Bases loaded, Alex Glass at the plate. Davila unwinds, and that curveball sails off the plate for ball 2. Getting to be a hitter's count here. If Davila comes in with a pitch, Alex, if he's ready, we'll see if he can do something with it. 2-1 delivery by Davila with the bases loaded behind him. To the plate he comes. Pitch, out one out of the zone at 3-1. Three-one delivery, no place to put Glass. Pitch, this one off the plate for ball 4. So Davila walks in a run, Glass drew the walk, and Saffold crosses home plate. So Morrow over the third, Brooks down the second, and Alex Glass on the walk over at first. Devin Lee set to step in now. (13-1) lead for Edward Waters. Devin, the shortstop. Quality defensive work for Tuskegee in this ball game. Struck out his last time up. Hit by a pitch in the bottom of the second inning. Davila with the pitch. Swung on and fouled back by Devin. So down at third base, Ryan Morrow. Jacoby Brooks at second, and over at first, it's Alex Glass. Bases full, 2 down, bottom of the fifth. 0-1 count to Devin Lee. Alexander Davila sets at the belt and to the plate with the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Devin. So Devin behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Bases full, 1 across for Tuskegee, or 2 across here already in the bottom of the fifth. And a pitch count violation there with the bases loaded. That'll be a ball. And the count to 1-2. Davila with the pitch. This one swung on by Lee and fouled off right side. So this bat continues. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down, bottom of the fifth. Bases loaded for Tuskegee. Trying to continue to cut into that 13-2 lead by the Tigers of Edward Waters. Davila with the pitch, curveball. This one looped out and fouled wide of third base by Devin Lee. So good battle at the plate by Devin to stay alive. Fouled off a couple of balls here. See if he can't find one that he can get into play. One-two delivery from Davila. Bounced up there, but a good block there by Medina behind the plate. Runners have to stay put, and the count goes to 2-2. Davila walked in a run, the last batter, as he walked Glass to score Saffold from third. And this pitch on the ground to the second baseman. He'll flip it over to first to retire Devin Lee in Tuskegee here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Tuskegee able to put across 2 here in the bottom of the 5th, and we'll head to the 6th with Edward Waters leading at 13-2.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
Back live at Washington Field on the campus of Tuskegee University. Golden Tiger Sports Network. Charles Ward here with the story of baseball. Tuskegee. And heading to the top of the 6th, trailing it to the Tigers of Edward Waters, 13-2. Ryan Morrow stays on the mound for Tuskegee. A couple of good innings of work by him since coming on in relief. Edward Waters will send up Jordan Smith to start the top of the 6th. He'll be followed by Tyler Smith and then Luis Nunez. The 3 for head coach Reginald Johnson II as they lead it 13-2. They won both ball games on yesterday, so trying to solidify their 4th position in the SIAC standings. With the 2 wins yesterday, 11-7 and 8-5. Edward Waters staying right there in the thick of things in the top half of the SIAC standings. Meanwhile, Tuskegee came into play at the start of our action on yesterday in 9th in the SIAC. But dropping those 2 ball games on yesterday, we'll have to see how the rest of the field fared over with weekend play to see if Tuskegee can maintain that 9th position and still be just on the outside looking in for the tournament baseball championship starting at the end of April, the beginning of May. Top 8 leading and going into the tournament will appear. Morrow starts Smith off with a fastball, but it's up and out of the zone for ball 1. Smith doubled his last time up. Morrow with the pitch. That one on the corner for strike 1. Morrow again, this one shot out and foul out of play right side. We're live in the top of the 6th inning here at Washington Field. Morrow ahead in the count for Tuskegee. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryan rocks and delivers for Tuskegee. 1-2, curveball swung on and missed. And he gets Jordan Smith on the strikeout. 2nd strikeout of the ball game for Ryan Morrow. That'll bring up Tyler Smith to the plate. Back in the 3rd. Smith. Curveball high by Ryan was part of that play out when he was gunned down trying to take an extra base. And takes a ball here. Top of the 6th, 13-2 lead for Edward Waters. Pitch by Morrow. This one off the plate, trying to find that corner with the fastball. And falls behind in the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Morrow set and quickly ready to go back to work for Tuskegee. Fires here. This one on the ground. Sunday hop, and this one bobbled by Devin Lee. Lee working so hard for his defensive skills at shortstop. This time, bobbles one there on an easy play. And aboard is Nunez, or Tyler Smith, that is, as a result of that error. So 5th error of the series for Devin Lee at shortstop. And to the plate comes Luis Nunez for Edward Waters. Sometimes you can just be too comfortable with your fielding ability. That time Devin looked to be that way. This one shot out to center field. Zaffo takes a couple of steps back, ranges to his right, and squeezes it for out number 2. So 1 pitch, 1 out, or 2 outs now as Nunez flies out to center field. That'll bring up Chase Morris. Morris has had a good series for Edward Waters overall. He came into today's play 4 of 3 from the plate. And in today's ball game, he's tripled for Edward Waters. Got on a base on balls, grounded out to the short last time up. So a good series for him. Swings at this pitch, and this one fielded by Evans Jones at first base, and he'll pick it up, step on the bag, and retire Morris here in the top of the 6th. And no damage done there by Tuskegee. Will go to the bottom half of the 6th. TU trailing at 13-2 to the Tigers of Edward Waters.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross-country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tigers Sports Network. Go Tigers!
Thank you, Coach Easterling. Go Tigers. Indeed, that's the call. She had the Tigers in full throttle in the indoor track and field championships. Named Coach of the Year as a result of that, Tuskegee. Trying to get the Tigers to go here a little bit in the bottom of the 6th. A trail at 13-2. Tuskegee will send to the plate, and that's bottom of the 6th, Chris Smith. He'll be followed by Joshua Stevens and then Evan Jones for the Golden Tigers. Smith singled his last time up. I beg your pardon, he flew out to right field his last time up. So he'll step in. Davila still on the mound for Edward Waters. And he delivers the first pitch. This one swung on and pop out in center field, chasing and flagging and calling off everybody is Chase Morris out in center. Had to come a long way, but he was able to field that one with the grab out in center for out number 1. So Smith with the 1 pitch and 1 out as a fly out in the center. That'll bring up Joshua Stevens. And Joshua at the plate last time, he singled for Tuskegee and eventually came around to score one of the Tuskegee 2 runs. Takes a look at the first pitch. It's at the knees and a strike there by Davila. Oh, 1 pitch, this one on the ground to the shortstop, fielded there by Ramos across the diamond with the true throw over the showing. And they retire Joshua on the 6-3 put out. And that'll bring up first baseman Evan Jones. Jones with that last out, fielding that ball from Chase Morris to end the top of the 6. He'll step in now, see if he can't find some grass for a base hit here. Flew out to left field his last time out, struck out in the bottom of the third. Davila ready. This one. And shot out into left field, and that's down for the base hit. Evan turns first base, digging for second base. He'll be in there with a stand-up double for Tuskegee. So Evan Jones on that first pitch just rocked it out the left field all the way to the defense line, and he stands at second with the double for Tuskegee with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Back to the top of the order now. Saffold. John singled his last time up, doubled in the third. So he's working on a 2-3 day. Grounded out to the short to start things out in the first inning. Jones at second. Avila with the pitch. First pitch taken by Saffold for strike 1. Evan Jones with the double to left field at second base, 2 down, bottom of the 6th. Pitch from Davila. Bounced up there. Saffold almost offered, but able to hold up. The count taken to 1-1. Wind starting to pick up here in Tuskegee. Forecast for rain here in the afternoon. Davila peers back to second out of the plate with the pitch. This one on the ground. Shortstop floats it across the diamond, and they got the tag. No, they missed him on the play at third base. As Zach Tate says that on the flyby, the tag was not applied by showing, but head coach Reginald Johnson going to question that one now. As that play came down the line, and over the third base goes Evan Jones. But now Zach Tate and Al King on to get together on that, trying to see if it was a tag applied by there. And they do rule that the tag was applied. King saw it from behind home plate, and he ruled, and look, that's what it looked like from this vantage point too, that they did get the tag on Saffold, who was trying to pass first base, but coming off the line to get that throw was showing, caught it and able to reach back and put the tag on Saffold at first base. So Tuskegee, they start the inning with a runner with Evans with the double, Evan Jones with the double, but cannot push him across. So we go to the 7th. It's a 13-7 lead for Edward Waters.
Hey, are you fixing the power?
Yep, I'm gonna get the lights back on.
Yeah, my power went out and I have to start level 14 all over again in our game.
Yeah, why didn't mine go out?
Well, we have this technology that can stop an outage in its tracks.
Why?
So less people will be affected during the outage.
Why?
So you can make the level 15?
Come on, Brian. Let's go to your house and keep playing.
Good luck, guys.
And we are back live here at Washington Field. Tuskegee. They'll send Rodney Mudd. He'll play out in right field for James Slaughter. Batted for him last time in the lineup. So Mudd out there in right field. Already at second base. Chris Smith in the lineup there. So Glass at third, Lee at short, Smith at second, Evan Jones at first. And Rodney Mudd down there in right field now for Tuskegee. Outfield stays the same, Saffold in center, and Jacoby Brooks out in left. At the plate for Edward Waters, they will send back to Caden Hutchinson to start things off. Caden Hutchinson, the senior from Brunswick, Georgia. Leadoff man for Edward Waters in the top of the 7th. Morrow with the pitch. This one shot out to center field, and having it play it on the hop is Saffold, and Hutchinson is aboard with a base hit. A line drive shot right back over the infield and down out in the grass in center. So that'll bring up Showing, the first baseman. Showing with the tag on Saffold to end the bottom of the sixth. Hutchinson over at first base. Morrow with the pitch, going on the play, throw down at second. That one's bounced down there, and stealing second base is Hutchinson. So he's down at second with nobody out here to start the top of the seventh. Showing grounded out to the glass at third his last time out. Swings at that pitch and fouls it back. And Morrow ahead in the count now. No balls, 2 strikes. We're live in the top of the seventh here at Washington Field. Morrow with the pitch. This one chopped on into the Tuskegee dugout. Down at second base is Hutchinson. Got a base hit out to single, and he stole second base. Oh, 2 pitch now. This one, fly ball out in the center field. Saffold has to push all the way almost in the right field over the shoulder catch, and tagging and headed over to the third is Hutchinson. So the fly ball by Showing pushes him over the third. And that'll bring Torrey Jones to the plate. Jones flew out to right field his last time up. Scored twice in this ball game for Edward Waters. 1 down, top of the 7th inning. Hutchinson at third. Morrow on the mound with the pitch. That one at the knees for strike 1. Infield in tight for Tuskegee, anticipating a play at the plate. Morrow with the pitch. This one on the ground and past Chris Smith at second base, and that will score Hutchinson. And a base hit there by the designated hitter Torrey Jones. That'll give him another RBI in this ball game. And Hutchinson's across. That'll make it 14-2. Edward Waters with the lead. And Miso Ramos, the shortstop, set to step in. Ramos struck out his last time in the 5th, scored in the 3rd, and got on base in the 1st inning after a balk on Mikhail Mason was called. So Jones with the base hit gets the RBI, and the pitch bounced up there as Ramos took that one for a ball. Jones gets his lead at first base. Morrow into the stretch. The pitch there off the plate. Count to 2-0. 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Morrow delivers a strike there to make it 2-1. Ramos steps out, but disappointed about that call. And he'll settle back in now. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 down, top of the 7th. Tuskegee trailing 14-2. Edward Waters already with a run here in this top frame. Morrow with the pitch. This one swung on and fouled out of play right side. Count at 2-2. Jones down at first base. Morrow with the pitch. This one swatted out to left field, but it's wide of the chalk. On a line drive there by Ramos, would have gone all the way to the corner, but it's outside of the line, so the count at 2-2. Wind wind starting to gust here more. 2-2 delivery. That one bounced up there, and the count goes full at 3-2. A little bit of debris blowing across the infield. Count full here on the shortstop, Miso Ramos. Morrow with the pitch out in the right field. That one circling back and over the shoulder grab there by Rodney Mudd, who had to circle a little bit there to make that catch. That'll hold Torrey Jones at first base, and Ramos flies out to right. That'll make it 2 down here in the top of the 7th. And to the plate now comes the catcher, C.J. Medina. A 14-2 lead for Edward Waters. Morrow continuing from the stretch, and the pitch. Curveball over but low for ball 1. Two down, top of the 7th. One-oh delivery. This one shot out over the head of the shortstop Devin Lee and out in the center field for a base hit from Medina. So he will keep the line moving. He will push Torrey Jones down to second off of his single, and he'll line up at first base. And that'll bring up Jordan Smith. Smith, a victim of a strikeout his last time. And Morrow trying to see if he can't do the same thing here to retire Edward Waters here in the top of the 7th. They've already scored 1 here. They lead at 14-2. Morrow peers back at Jones at second, and the pitch bounced up there, and Jones on his way over to third base as it's bobbled behind the plate by Stevens. So on the wild pitch, Jones over to third, and down the second goes Medina for Edward Waters. And Smith ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. This one eye level, and the count at 2-0. Chopped on wide of third base. Good grab there by the third base coach for Edward Waters. That'll make it 2-1. As Smith steps back in, and Morrow with 2 down here in the top of the 7th, trying to close this inning out. 2 runners on base, 1's already crossed, and here's the pitch. Good stop there by Stevens behind the plate. That one between his legs, and able to still corral it there. But the count goes to 3-1. Morrow with the pitch. And that's ball 4, and Jordan Smith draws the walk. So he's aboard, and the bases loaded once again for Edward Waters, with Tyler Smith coming to the plate. Smith on an error by the shortstop, Devin Lee last time up. 2 down here, Tuskegee with no place to put Tyler Smith. Bases loaded, Morrow in the stretch for Tuskegee. And the pitch bounced up there and off the plate. Stevens chases it down, didn't have to go too far for it. And Morrow behind in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. We've got 2 out, top of the 7th. Morrow with the pitch. This one swung on out in the left field. That'll get down for a base hit. Diving for it was Brooks, so he'll have to come up and head toward the fence line. That'll clear the bases of the 3 runners prior to Tyler Smith, and he'll be down at second base with a double, and he'll get 3 RBI as a result of his line drive double out to left field. So scoring on the double was Torrey Jones, C.J. Medina, and George Smith all crossing the plate now, and that'll make it 17-2. Edward Waters with the lead, and still 2 down here in the top of the 7th, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Luis Nunez. So Tyler Smith unloads the bases with a double. Nunez at the plate, took a look at the curveball, over for strike 1. Morrow with the pitch. That one over for the strike on the corner. Count to 1-1. Tyler Smith down at second base. Morrow looks at him and now to the plate with the pitch. This was foul tipped at the plate and off the plate. The count now to 1-2 on Nunez. Morrow trying to get out of this top of the 7th. They've already put 4 across, Edward Waters has. And that curveball, Nunez leaning all the way over the plate to look at it to ensure that it was off the plate. And Al King agrees that it was ball 2. I beg your pardon, one ball, 2 strikes now. Morrow, 1-2 delivery at the plate. That one low and off the plate. Now the count is 2-2 on Nunez. Tyler Smith at second. Nunez looks and swings and misses at that pitch. Morrow strikes out Nunez to end the top of the 7th inning. But another inning in which Edward Waters pushes across runs. This time they push 4 across and they lead it 17-2 over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. Take a break here on GTSN.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee Athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities. Healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Brown, class of 1986, president of Tuskegee University, and this is the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Thank you, President Brown. Tuskegee right now trailing at 17-2, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Tigers of Edward Waters. They will send on Cameron Chastain, the senior from Stark, Florida. Chastain with a 9.0 ERA, no wins and no 1 loss for him. This will be his 9th appearance. 5 innings of work for him coming into today's ball game. He's given up 7 hits and 6 runs on the season. 7 strikeouts, 11 base on balls, and teams batting .467 against Cameron Chastain. So it'll be Rodney Mudd, the second, headed to the plate with a stick to step in against Chastain. Bottom of the 7th, Tuskegee trailing 17-2. Rain still threatening here in the Tuskegee area, but none falling at the moment. Chastain with the pitch. Turning his hips out there for ball 1 is Rodney Mudd for Tuskegee. Rodney, 214 batting average coming into the weekend's play. Swings at this one, gets it down the line, and fair ball just inside of the bag at first base. It'll roll down toward the corner. Rodney digging for second base, and he'll apply the brakes there and comes back to the bag with a stand-up double for Tuskegee. So Rodney hitting that one just out of the reach of the first baseman showing, and in between the bag, and he's down at second base with a double. That's a good start to the inning for Tuskegee. That'll bring up Ryan Morrow. Ryan started at second base, but has pitched the last 3 innings for Tuskegee, or the last 4 for Tuskegee, as he's come on relief. Chastain gives up the double. Mudd at second. Looks toward him, fires to the plate. Over with a fastball for strike 1 on Ryan Morrow. Ryan took a good look at that fastball. Chastain sets at the belt. Looks to second and now fires home. Curveball low in the dirt, counted 1-1. Edward Ward has now got his bullpen geared up. Chastain's come on here in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch there. This one's out to right field, and over the shoulder catch there by Jordan Smith. He reached up at the very, very last moment to make that grab for Edward Waters. Thought that ball was going to shoot over his head, but he did not put that arm up into the air till it was just about in front of him. So he retires Ryan Morrow on the fly out to right field, but that allows Mudd to slide over to third on the tag, and Jacoby Brooks to the plate now for Tuskegee. But Mudd at third base. Chastain readies with the pitch. That one swung on and missed on the slow curveball by Jacoby Brooks. So Chastain ahead in the count, no balls, 1 strike. And the pitch, another curveball, that's over as well for strike 2. Brooks got on a base on balls last time up, but down in the count here, 0-2. Here's the delivery from Chastain, and Brooks did go on that pitch, so he strikes out. Thought he held up on the swing, but not able to do so. So Jacoby retired on a strikeout. And 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. And that'll bring up Alex Glass, the third baseman for Tuskegee, with Rodney Mudd down at third base. Glass drew a walk his last time up. Chastain from the belt. And with the pitch, starts it off with a curveball, a slow roller to the third baseman. Smith fires across the diamond, and they retire Glass. And Tuskegee here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And looks like that is going to do it here. This one is slated to just go 7. Told that they would likely go 9, but it will end here in the bottom of the 7th. Tuskegee not able to push another run across. And Edward Waters on the weekend series against the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. They take all 3. They win the final one here, 17-2 over Tuskegee. So on the weekend of play, hosting Edward Waters, Tuskegee not gaining the ground that they hoped. They hoped they would be able to cut into their standing at number 9 in the SIAC. We'll have to see how the rest of the field fares in terms of conference play over the weekend. They came in number 9, but they lost 3 to Edward Waters here at Washington Field. We'll take a break and wrap things up here on the series here at Tuskegee University after this time out on GTSN.
For For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Be the you you've always wanted to be. Wind Creek Casino. It's your kind of fabulous.
Tuskegee fans, I am Coach LaShonda Easterling, cross country and track and field coach. Thank you for listening to the Golden Tiger Sports Network. Go Tigers!
Take a look at the scoreboard here, just out in center field at Washington Field. Tells the story here in the final ball game of the 3-game series. Edward Waters came ready, and they win at 17-2. Got a lot of help from Tuskegee pitching early on. Tuskegee difficulty with the balls and strikes and the inordinate number of walks in the first couple of innings. 5 across in the first for Edward Waters. They got another in the second, 7 in the third, and then they tacked on another 4 in the top of the 7th. For Tuskegee, they got their 2 runs in the 6th inning and making it a 17-2 win for Edward Waters. Their numbers on the day: 17 runs, 10 hits, no errors. 2-6-0 for Tuskegee. 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors in the ball game for Tuskegee. So for the weekend play, Edward Waters wins the first one 11-7. Second one yesterday 8-5 on doubleheader day. And they close out the series here this Saturday morning with a 17-2 win over the Golden Tigers of Tuskegee. So Tuskegee, after the weekend's play, they will go to 11-20 and to 8-13 in conference play. For Edward Waters, they'll up their mark to 21-13 and 14-7 in SIAC play. Quick reminder that we're back here at Washington Field on Wednesday, April 9th, when Point University comes for a single ball game. Tuskegee will have them at 2 o'clock, and we'll have that coverage for you here on GTSN. But prior to that, on April 5th and 6th, we'll be at the softball complex at Tuskegee as the Golden Tigers take on Kentucky State University, in doubleheader on Saturday at 1 and 3. And a single game at 1 o'clock on Sunday as our coverage continues of Tuskegee baseball and softball during the 2025 season. That'll do it for our coverage here from Washington Field here on this early Saturday. Rain was threatening, but they got the ball game in, but it did not end the way that Tuskegee wanted it. They fall 17-2 to the Tigers of Edward Waters. Special thanks to the president of Tuskegee University, Dr. Mark Brown, and to Rodonda Rice, our Chief Operating Officer, and to the Athletics Director and Executive Producer of Golden Tiger Sports Network, Athletics Director Reginald Ruffin, Deborah Rogers, our Deputy Chief Athletics Director, Nick Brown, Game Operations Manager, and to Jordan Benson. Jordan with some just outstanding notes to really get its prep for this series with Edward Waters in conference play. And a special thanks to our entire crew at our coverage on GTSN. Ogden Bass leading our group with OB1 and his fine team of producers, camera operators, just for quality coverage of our coverage of Tuskegee baseball. And again, our special thanks to you for watching our coverage here for Weekend Action from Washington Field. Charles Ward saying once again, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on GTSN. This has been a production of the Golden Tiger Sports Network.
Broadcast coverage of Tuskegee athletics on the Golden Tiger Sports Network is brought to you by Alabama Department of Public Health. Healthy people, healthy communities, healthy Alabama. Booster Digital Displays, dedicated to providing high-quality, affordable LED displays with exceptional service. TNT Fireworks, celebrating more than 100 years of America's #1 best-selling brand of fireworks. Alabama Power, developed for the service of Alabama. Wind Creek Casino, Montgomery. Elevate your game to fabulous. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Coca-Cola, real magic. Zuby's Taco Kitchen, Yellowwood. And by Vibes Restaurant, we're all about good vibes.